Hey Gemini, how y'all doing? Welcome. We're going to be taking a look at your June through July Litha season video here. So I'm going to jump right into your meditation. Um, just like the best of Gemini energy, I found it a bit curious, a bit mysterious. So we're going to get right into it. So I saw two scenes. So the first one I saw was I felt like I was behind a pane of glass and I'm looking at a very snowy winter-esque scene, right? Which, by the way, the fact that we're talking about, the summer solstice is the halfway point of the year, in direct opposition to that, if you're in the southern hemisphere, you're looking at the winter solstice. So it's midway point, right? So the first scene that I saw was this snow, lots of snow falling down. And then I saw this beautiful white Arctic fox sitting there around the snow. And then I saw this kitsune spirit. It felt like she was from this, I forget what it's called, but it's by Neil Gaiman, this graphic novel about this kitsune spirit and this samurai. And this kitsune spirit came forward and she had the, nine tails. If you're familiar with, Japanese lore and kitsune energy, you can look it up. It's a lot of fun if you're curious. Nine tails. And then I heard her say, like, what are your nine wishes? Like, what do you wish? There's that energy of wish fulfillment, the nine of cups. I got that feeling, which is the wish fulfillment key, but it felt very still, like winter, like snow falling. It's very, very quiet, right, in the winter. And I got this very distinct sense of just waiting, waiting, preservation, stillness. And then I saw another scene, and it was the exact opposite. I felt like I was in the sunny days of summer, and I saw this seal, or a sea lion, I think it was actually, out on the beach and just living its best sea lion lifestyle, like you do, frolicking amongst the waves. And then I saw it just sort of chill out and just sort of take in the sun and just, sunbathing or sunbaking, as it were. Really interesting because these are both two counter energies. But when you think about it, people go on vacation in the summer. They allow themselves to relax a little bit before they get into the rest of the year, before the harvest time comes in August and then, into the autumn. And then also in the winter, right? That's when we slow down, have holiday seasons here in the Northern Hemisphere. So it's interesting that we're coming up to a point and about a sort of aspect of stillness, a point in which we are halfway through the year where we stop and we can look back over what this year has been so far before we move forward and manifest what we want the rest of the year to be. So it feels like it's like that's pertinent in your meditation. This midpoint, this halfway point, this moment in time in which you have this opportunity to reflect and reset. So interestingly enough, your animal here is the nightingale. So this for me is a Queen of Swords energy, right? This is about not just what you say, but how you say it. It's about using your words with, wisdom and integrity. You as Gemini, when you guys are in alignment, you're really, really good at this. You've got lots of words, you've got lots of thoughts. And when you're in alignment, you really have a way of communicating that can inspire others and also spur them to action as well. It's I'm hearing the word like philosophy. There's a lot of good energy and power within your skills of communication and the way that you not just communicate with others, but with yourself as well. You have that ability, right? I'm really feeling the throat chakra here with this in such a big way. Nightingale energy is also about speaking your truth and being honest with yourself and others. I feel like I'm getting this sense of with that kitsune, with the wishes and the stillness and the midway point, I feel like there's this opportunity for you to sit in quiet communion with yourself and communicate within for yourself what you want the rest of your year to look and feel like. But in order to do that, it's about allowing yourself to reflect and reset. I keep hearing that from the first 6 months of the year, which I feel like have been pretty I want to say pretty wild, pretty eventful, a lot of energy, because we don't usually need to reflect and reset unless it's been a little, busy, been eventful in some way. And I feel like that's definitely been the case with you. So you're coming through as the Eight of Swords. Okay. So interesting. given what we're saying about the throat chakra, you are an air sign. The swords are about our communication and our thought process. But Eight of Swords in particular is really about, you know, analysis paralysis in its wildest untamed form. I mean, this can happen to the best of us, but especially to us air signs, we can be rather proficient at this, and where we fall victim to our own thought patterns. We really have a way, air signs in particular, really have a knack for ruining our own days. It's very, very true, and it's because the power of our mind is just so strong, and it's such a busy place. But Gemini's in particular, I've always found your brains to be out of all the air signs like the busiest. It's really another level, which can absolutely work to your advantage. But I feel like here with the Eight of Swords, this is showing that you may struggle with some of your mind palace upkeeping during this time frame. But what's really fascinating with this is that this is a minor. You can work with this. You can flip this upside down and find relief and release in this as well. Because look at this. The universe has come and tied little Alice up here, right? But guess what? She may be a prisoner of her own thoughts, but you know what she also is? She's still. She's not moving. She is bound, right? So I feel like there's a stillness that wants to happen for you, and it can either happen by the ocean side or in a nice winterscape, or it can happen like this, right? Where you're literally feeling trapped in the confines of your mind. So I really do feel like this is up to you in some way. And I like all these cards flying like a game of chance. It does feel like luck and wish, and there's something about movement that just feels incredibly important, movement versus stillness. So in your place of advice here, I find this really beautiful because this is Ace of Cups. This is the opposite of Eight of Swords, right? This is about being very keyed into your intuition. This is about big love, feeling really good in your emotional core. I'm getting a special note for those of you who possibly have water moon signs or even water rising. There's something about leaning into the best aspects of your water attributes to help you through this time. I'm really feeling that your head is not your friend during this time as much as your feelings are. Right? Again, it's such a summer. This is summer. Ace of Cups is summer. It is the summer solstice, right? So the fact that this is coming up in your place of advice, allow yourself to, I'm getting hydrate, nourish, be still, be relaxed. I feel like, okay, yes, you deserve it. Yes, there's a lot of freedom in that. But I feel like for you, it's maybe the only antidote to, your mind trying to take over and be overstimulated in some way. Right? This is how you're going to balance yourself. And I feel for some of you, you can even take this literally, where you can go and be by the water, sit by a body of water, really allow yourself to take in, nature's tonic, as it were. That's really what I'm feeling. And remember, Ace of Cups can also be an opportunity coming to you. But I feel like for you, it's only going to come if you're still long enough to receive it, right? I can see this image of you, like moving around, like going from here to there in your mind, right? Your mind is going from one place to another to the point where this Ace of Cups coming from the universe that wants to give you that realization, that wants to give you a gift, that wants to give you an idea, that wants to give you a point of purpose and focus, it keeps missing you because you keep moving. And yeah, I do feel like the movement is in your mind, but I also feel like for some of you, this could also manifest because if your mind is doing the most, sometimes your body wants to do the most as well. So it's sometimes by stilling the body, we can calm the mind, but it can be something that we have to choose to do, because for some people, depending on how you are, some people, when their bodies are still, they find it nearly impossible to quiet the mind. So they use activity or movement as a way to make the mind sort of, take the back seat. But for you, I'm really hearing that the key to not just inner peace, but inner balance is really allowing yourself the space and the time in which to just whoosa, to just have that still water experience, right? Because still water is a reflective surface. A running river is not. So, take that as you will. In your place of challenge, no surprise here, you have the Nine of Swords, which speaks of lack of sleep, nightmares. But this key for me is also worst case scenario thinking, right? I love that it's being depicted as the Mad Hatter here with the hair energy, or not the Mad Hatter, the White Rabbit. Because there's this energy of Oh my God, like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm going to think about this so much and worry about it so much that I'm actually going to manifest it. So the fact that this is coming up in your place of challenge again, just really, 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 really speaks to the need to be aware of this within yourself and do whatever you need to do in order to calm yourself, still your mind, and find your balance. I feel like with this nightingale here as well, nighttime nightingale, and then you have the 9 of Swords with the nighttime here. I also saw that kitsune with the 9 wishes and the 9 tails, the 9 lives, and all of that. There's something about, I feel like there's a shift that wants to be made. Something that you might need to make a decision around to either put an end to or continue on with. I feel like that's really coming up for you. It could be an opportunity that arises in the form of this Ace of Cups where it's around a relationship, or it could be something that, your heart just doesn't feel like it's in it anymore, or you don't necessarily feel like it's fulfilling you in some way, shape, or form. This could be something personal. This could be something about you that you're going, I want to make some changes because I'm not feeling myself anymore, or I'm not feeling myself in this situation, or whatever it is. But there's a shift that wants to be made. And I feel like there's a sort of, I don't want to say procrastination because I don't know how conscious it is, but I feel like there's a sort of reticence to look at it clearly and actually face it directly so that you can actually see it, actually get full focus on it, go, okay, this is keeping me up, this is keeping my brain a bit overactive, it's robbing me of my peace. So I need to look at that and make some changes around it, which leads me to, you got a bonus card for this because I actually saw this at the tail end of your meditation. So this is one of Scrolls on Track. I'm not using this deck today, but this came up in your meditation. This is from the Akashic Tarot. So this in that deck really speaks about timing and movement. In reverse, that can speak of when you're delaying making a choice around something and it leads to an opportunity or a potential passing you by. In the upright, this is really about go with those nudges that you're feeling, these decisions that you're thinking about making are going to get you right on track, right? So it's really interesting. We have northbound train, westbound, and then eastbound, right? So it does feel like there's that choice that's coming up for you. And that feels, the fact that it's one of Scrolls, it's like an ace moment as well with this Ace of Cups. It just feels incredibly important because this is the equivalent of the Ace of Swords in this deck, which is that realization and that clear thinking, right? So I feel like this is sort of sitting on top of everything and coloring it. So this feels important as well. And I feel like also the more you can connect with your gut, right? Again, back to this Ace of Cups and that solar plexus chakra, that yellow, really connecting with your gut. When you feel something is right in your bones, nothing can stop you, Gemini, nothing. It's only when your head isn't in alignment or is philandering in self-doubt or worst case scenario thinking like the 9 of Swords, that robs you of your power. When you can really connect with your knowing, the sky is the limit. Really, there's just unlimited untapped potential, and the choices you make are going to be so spot on for you and so on track for you that there's zero regret. It's a really beautiful potential for you. In your place of victory, you have 2 of Wands, which this is about, this is hawk energy in terms of this is about being willing to or able to see something quite clearly, but not necessarily make your move just yet. It's about getting all the information available to you, getting that foundation strong, right? Getting all of the I's dotted and the T's crossed so that you can be ready when your 3 of Wands moment comes, right? There's something very distinct about this that feels like you're in the planning phase. I'm drawn to these roses or the change making phase, right? I'm drawn to these roses and these white lilies. These are also the flowers that are in the Magician's Key and the Tarot. The red roses represent your passion. What do you really love? Why are you here? What is your purpose, right? What gets you up in the morning? What excites you? How connected are you to that part of yourself, right? And then the white lilies speak of our connection to spirit, our loved ones who are on the other side. How are we feeling in our spirit? Do we feel calm in our soul, or do we feel like we've missed the mark somehow and ended up on the wrong train? These questions are coming up for you during this time. The fact that this is in your place of victory means that you've reached a certain precipice where you're being willing to consider more than one option. And the more that you open your mind to other potentials that may have seemed a bit far-fetched before, the more information you're going to have and the better you're going to enable yourself to identify the right opportunities as they arise on the train track, right? Now, your outcome is the star. This could not be better. Wish fulfillment. This is star energy. This is Aquarius energy. This is that pearl in the middle of the oyster that is created. It's a defense mechanism, right? That's when all the grains are trying to get into these foreign bodies, trying to get into the oyster. So the pearl is formed as a defense mechanism. It's actually a really beautiful way to look at wish fulfillment because there's getting what you want theoretically, and then there's the reality of getting what you want, and there's a certain change that needs to happen. Even if you get your dream job, there's still a lot of effort and change and fear inherent in that because it's something new. It's going to require more of you. Just for an example, same with a relationship, right? Same with the realization. Change inherently is difficult, right? So I do feel like there's an aspect here with your outcome, with this light in the darkness, right? That great hope, great love, intuition, wish fulfillment being in the spotlight, that does say to me with this outcome that you are on track. But I do feel like there's an aspect of how are you going to use the time to get there, right? Your decision around this Eight of Swords, this mental entrapment, your challenge of losing sleep, you can catch yourself in those moments and choose something different. I know it's a lot easier to say than to do. Trust me, I'm an air sign too. I completely get that. But there is this way of talking to yourself where you can choose to be mindful of the thoughts that you think and train yourself, nightingale style, to speak to yourself with a certain gentility that is more beneficial, more holistic to your well-being, and also allows you to key more into your feelings. So I do feel like your head is not necessarily your friend during this time, nearly as much as your heart, as your feeling core, as your solar plexus, your seat of confidence, how you perceive the world, right? Now, for your oracle, I absolutely love this. So you got lemonade. Make the most of your situation by opening your mind to new possibilities. I love how it's talking about opening your mind. And then your Eight of Swords here with the blindfold on. Look at this. And oh my God, he's covering his eyes here. Look at this. Ooh. Look at that. Blindfolded, covering the eyes. Make the most of your situation by opening your mind to new possibilities. I feel like there's a real call to dare to do something differently or take a risk or take a chance on something that you may not have considered before. Because again, in your place of victory, eyes are wide open. She's even got her arm up, like helping her, get the hair out of her eyes so she can see better, right? Like what's on the horizon? This is really about clear vision for you, Gemini. It's really, really, really beautiful. This also speaks of taking what hasn't worked for you in the past and reframing it so that it's not as bitter and more sweet. It's kind of like that saying with lemonade. It's like when life hands you lemons, make lemonade, whatever, add some sugar to it, I guess. But really, for me, this is really about understanding that the past is not prologue for the future. It's really about your choices, your perception, and how you choose to work with what you have. And I feel like there's a lot of power and magic in that for you, Gemini. I truly, truly do. It speaks to the sweetness of life. Your outcome here is the star, is the wish fulfillment. And I feel like if you are able to clearly identify what it is you truly want and connect with what your real passion is, you're going to have no doubt about which train is yours and the time to get on it. That's what it is, Gemini. And it's really beautiful linking up with this time of year where it is the midway point. Your second half of your year could look a lot different than your first half if you so choose, right? It's really beautiful, Gemini. I'm happy for you. It's really beautiful, really, really beautiful. So also dream time. Pay attention to those messages that come at nighttime in sleep. We've got the star here. We've got the Eight of Swords on a stormy day, nightingale, Nine of Swords at night. So there is something about something coming to light and those quiet moments as well. It's really good information there. When there's less stimuli in your circumstances, I feel like there's a lot more ability to key into the wisdom that's there for you via the Ace of Cups. So really beautiful. So with that being said, Gemini, thank you so much for being here. This is your Litha June through July reading. Please let me know in the comments how you're doing. Does this help? Does this resonate? What do you think of this? How y'all doing? I'm so happy I've been back with you guys for a little bit now, but I am now finally back in the UK. My visa has been approved, honey. I'm back in home base with my baby crow here and my natural setup, my natural new habitat. So I'm so so grateful for all of your patience as I've gone through this time of transition. I am going to make a video about this and talk a little bit about being on the other side of it as well on a This Is Me segment coming up here. But I just thank you guys so much for hanging in there with me. And most of all, and as always, my beautiful Gemini friends, just thank you for being you and be well. Until next time.